If you tell most people they should spend more time doing nothing, they'll probably look at you as if you've just suggested sitting through a 3-hour seminar on paint drying. To many, stillness equals boredom, something to be resisted at all cost. But here's the twist. What we call doing nothing is actually the gateway to living fully. The hard part is convincing a world addicted to noise and distraction that stepping into the present moment isn't a punishment, but the start of real freedom. As I mentioned in my previous video about Einstein, his theory suggests that all time is happening at once, the past, present, and future stacked together like pages in a book. If that's true, then the present moment isn't just some fleeting dot between what's gone and what's next. It's the only reality there ever is. Imagine tapping into that, an ocean of awareness containing every possibility. Suddenly your gut feeling stops being a quirk and starts being a reliable tool. Acting from that space, decisions flow more easily, stress loosens its grip, and life feels a whole lot lighter. So what about when it's time to throw in your cards and start pushing up daisies? If time doesn't run in a straight line, then the story of beginning and end looks more like a myth we've told ourselves. When you realize there's no hard stop, just shifting forms of existence, fear loses its power. And fear, let's face it, has been the invisible dictator for most of human history. Sure, people say they're afraid of heights, spiders, or flying, but underneath, fear silently influences where we live, who we love, and what we dare to dream. It keeps us locked in jobs we hate, it blocks intimacy, and it even manifests in disease. Of course, someone will say that we need fear to survive, but being present doesn't mean wandering blindly into traffic. Quite the opposite. In presence, you're more aware, more responsive, less distracted. You're less likely to get into accidents because you're actually awake to what's happening around you. Zooming out, look at society over the past decade. The old obsession with more money, more stuff is starting to wobble. People are onto the con of consumerism, the notion that endless shopping is the path to happiness. Increasingly, we want something deeper, something that has more meaning, that offers greater peace. That shift alone shows the direction we're moving in. The question is, what might life look like if presence became the global norm? Take education. Right now, most systems are designed to churn out obedient workers, little cogs that fit into the machine of capitalism. But to many people today, the idea of dedicating 30 years to a career you hate, just for the pension, feels absurd. Education might shift toward helping people discover what lights them up, not what keeps the economy grinding. Work would follow suit, less about security at all cost, and more about satisfaction, creativity, and contribution. Relationships. Well, too many partnerships today are built on insecurity and around the need of someone to complete me. Presence cuts that out. When insecurities dissolve, relationships become about joy in each other's company, not using someone as a crutch. Deeper, cleaner, freer. And the environment, here's where presence really matters. Right now, human ego runs the show, chasing profit over planetary health. But a more present humanity makes decisions less from greed and more from clarity. Environmental projects wouldn't be battles against corporate resistance, they'd be natural choices. And because presence taps into a wider field of intelligence, decisions would be sharper and faster too. And then there's creativity. The most inspired works of art, music, or innovation usually emerge from moments of deep presence, not frantic overthinking. A globally present society could usher in a renaissance of creativity and problem solving, not the sort of forced, profit-driven creativity we see now, but the kind that bubbles up naturally when people are relaxed and open. Imagine governments tackling problems with that same mindset, not rushing to win points, but genuinely listening and responding. Which brings us to a fascinating coincidence. Just as we arrive at this cultural crossroads, we've also invented artificial intelligence, which, if it grows alongside a more present humanity, and if it learns not to copy our egos but to reflect our wisdom, then it could become a powerful ally in this transition. The world we're pointing to isn't an utopia where nothing goes wrong. It's simply a place where fear, greed, and distraction stop running the show. A place where presence isn't a niche practice, but the baseline for how we live, learn, and love. And if that's the direction we're truly heading in, then maybe we're on the brink of the most meaningful global shift humanity has ever seen.